We'll now be taking our final plenary session. I'm happy and sad at the same time because, I mean, I've been enjoying the conversation. Some people are like, I want to eat. What's this woman saying? But you'll enjoy this one, I promise you. We have really eminent speakers here, with distinguished thought leaders who will do justice to Proptech in emerging markets, fundraising, talent, and the road to skill. I heard someone say, ooh, ooh. Are you excited? Wow, no one is excited about that. Okay, let's just close it now. We're not closing it. All right, so we have our moderator. I'll bring him up stage, and then he'll be here to receive other members of the conversation. Please, let's make welcome the Chief Executive Officer of Proptech Technology, John Owen. A round of applause, please. Did you bring some delegates here when you were coming? I think you did. All right, thank you, John. We are delighted to have you here. So you'll receive other members of your conversation. Let's make welcome COO Purple Proptech, Ope Ade Tiba. A round of applause for Ope. Thank you. You know, I told you he has been getting better. Get ready for a very insightful, forward-thinking conversation as we get to this particular panel conversation. So we have joining them as well, Muideen Dosumu, founder, GatePass. A round of applause. He will join virtually. Thank you. I mean, technology, what's a non-technology panel conversation in a tech conversation? We have my own brother from Ijebu. Let's make welcome Tunde Balogun, CEO, Rent Small.
Thank you so much, Moji. I will do like my co-founder has done, and I will use my power holding the microphone to invite a lady to join us. Dube, please, or Violet Lee. I think we should all take that example and remember to always make sure our panels are as balanced as possible. I'm sure Dube will be sharing some very, very insightful things with us today. Do we have Muideen on? Great to see you, man. Real life things. A lot of people feel like most times when we come for real estate gatherings, a lot of the things we talk about just fly over our heads, you know, because it seems like it's either the serious, you know, professionals like the QS who understand, you know, value engineering and a lot of things. Today we want to talk about things that affect every one of us, you know, as close to us as possible. And so we'll be talking about the Jagba trend and how it has affected talent acquisition. I'm sure we all know somebody that's jackpot. So, Tuba, if you don't mind, tell us about how Violet Lee has managed, you know, the jackpot situation and how you guys are managing the talents that you're able to get.
Thank you, John. I mean, it's a very interesting question because, I mean, last month we had our monthly MVR, and the unit in the whole of our organization that went under fire most was HR. So we have this budget for HR to get us very, very skilled, you know, skilled hands to, you know, move our company forward. And the money is just in there. They're unable to get us these people to join our team.
Let me be sure we understand you. So you have the money to hire.
But
you don't have the people to
I was thinking it was the sales and marketing team that would go under fire the most. But it was HR. And I'm like, guys, how hard is it to get quality procurement? And we just went on, and it was like, so at the stage of resumption, you just find out that the phone is sounding like it's roaming. The guys left out.
However, I mean, business has to continue. And one thing that we are doing on our side is just the people that we have right now, how we ensure that we let them see value in what we have. You know, how do we continue to let them feel comfortable, you know, in the offerings that we are giving to them. So I said to my people that anything we are going to provide to our customers, the people of small must be beneficiary first.
Say that again. So
anything we are going to provide value to our customers, be it financing, be it mortgage products, whatever it is that we are providing to our customers, I want my people to be beneficiary of that first. And we are finding ways to make that happen, and they are all excited about it. So there are just so many creative ways we are trying to ensure that the people in-house are happy, so that we don't have like churn of staff. While we are trying to bring more people in, we are churning the people that we have.
Yeah, and I think it's very important. I was having this argument or conversation with a couple of people talking about the Gen Z culture and how they are very, how they are compared to our own generation. And I said to them that I think that it's important that they are the way they are, because a lot of times when you have an extreme situation on the left, the only way to move it to the center is to go a bit extreme on the right as well, right? Back in the day, we used to have places where people work and they say, oh, my boss hasn't gone home, so I can't go home. And maybe your boss lives next door and you live in Obaja. And now your boss is sitting in the office till 9 o'clock because he will walk home next door and you can't leave. I think a bit of the Gen Z culture is helping us as bosses to be a bit more accountable and more thoughtful, in our approach. And I think what Tunde is saying is that being more thoughtful, being more creative in making your staff comfortable is what you're doing that is helping you, deal with, the Japa culture, and that's fantastic. So
let me interrupt you very quickly, and I apologize for that. This panel conversation will not be complete if I do not bring up Mr. Tochi Adesoya. Please let's make him welcome. He is the founder of Live Easy. Thank you. I thought the applause would be loud. I thought it cannot be complete without him. Thank you so much. I apologize for the omission. Thank you.
Please. So Tochi, if you don't mind, welcome to the panel. We're glad to have you. Tell us a bit about what Live Easy is doing to help adoption in real estate through your Proptech solution.
Okay, so Live Easy, like the name implies, is more about removing the stress from people's head and using technology to take the stress while still allowing them achieve their living aims and objectives. And based on the background I have in the technology industry, I discovered there were two major factors killing this particular position that people could easily take. And that is the fact that, number one, nobody knows anybody. You need to come from somebody, right? And then number two, we don't have a credit system. Like the other lady said, mortgage is very hard to get. And so we started looking at what is the best way to solve that. The next 5,000. Not wondering how quickly can you go deep, right? And so we decided to take a different view. Let's see how we can build deep, right? And then it will help us spring up faster up. So we decided to look at the best market to focus on that helps us get the volume and then be able to transcend it up. And we saw residential is the best way. And we also saw that a lot of landlords, managers, caretakers, as many of you know it, sit on data that can help a whole lot of tenants own house, even what realty is doing, right? Make people own fraction. And so what we are now trying to do is say, okay, let's make it easy for landlords, managers to adopt technology, to transfer those data on their table and in their wardrobe into a digital ecosystem, which we can now use to build I Know You, to now say, take a mortgage, take a credit, and achieve whatever you want to achieve. So that's what it is trying to do to help people achieve.
Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you so much. Businesses like yours definitely need to help people to have more adoption in real estate. And so let me come to our guest who is online, Muideen, to tell us a bit about how he also, through his company, is aiding adoption to real estate, supporting real estate, making it more vibrant and buoyant through Proptech.
Multifamily residential operations, so we automate payments for property managers, and we give great tools to hold their administrators, be it facility managers, estate exco, accountable. I think another thing that has emerged as we've gone along is just the amount of data and efficiency you're able to unlock for service providers, the residents themselves, policymakers. I think some of you would have seen the experts Intel tariff note on how tariff prices had increased for diesel, and that was made possible because of the work that we've done at Gates Pass and a competitor as well, Benco. So I think for us, there's doing that. Another thing where we've also been doing is creating opportunities for local businesses and merchants. Because at the end of the day, once somebody lives somewhere, they're a captive audience. So frequently we're able to unlock that market for new service providers, and in the same vein help residents get access to better services, get access to credit, and just know more about their environment. So that's basically what we've done at GatePass. I think I'd want to make a comment about the talent wave earlier.
Please go ahead.
And I think the reason why I want to make this comment is because, so for context, I used to work at KPMG, and this was something that people always used to debate about. These were things that we consulted on. And even within KPMG, they said, those millennials. Like I heard millennials every 20 business seconds while I was there. Right? And I think at the end of the day, the honest truth about it is that you can't escape it. I think thinking about it from the market or the talent force is global now. We would say that, paint the building red, put hammocks, put a sleeping room, but none of those things do anything. So it's more a case of us coming together to make our country or Nigeria a more livable place, because at the end of the day, you can't outbeat the country. So I just need to be clear on that.
Fantastic. And I think that's one thing we always talk about in every Proptech gathering, how we can generally put our hands to the plow to make our living conditions in the country better through the different aspects of the value chain that we all play. And so I'll come to Mr. Albert from Purple. The Purple Group is a popular one of our lead sponsors, for the event and always out there. Recently, you launched Purple Proptech. What did you see, and what are the things that you think are the reason why it was expedient to launch Purple Proptech? And are you guys thinking around sustainability? What are your efforts to see that you have a more sustainable real estate sector, which of course you're a dominant player in, and any other thoughts you'd like us to know about your reasons for coming?
Yeah, thank you very much. So for us at Purple, it was sort of almost a natural evolution, being that we had built, we sort of built up all these assets and sort of built up our expertise in the offline, cycle of our operations, to then think of how to make them better and how to take them forward. And obviously tech is, the great accelerator, as we see it nowadays, improves access, improves, improves your marketing capability and improves, the entire value chain. So for us, it was really about, we have all these, we have all these real estate assets. How do we make them more accessible? How do we make, how do we open these assets up to a whole new audience? Because real estate, traditionally real estate is an elitist investment class. You have to have connections or money traditionally to be able to invest in real estate. So what we thought of, okay, how can we decentralize this, this access to real estate? How do we make it more accessible? So obviously, one of the things we started working on is a fractional real estate investment platform, which sort of is glues together a lot of what we do. In that we're traditionally a real estate and we're also a financial services business. So it gives us the opportunity to sort of split those assets into smaller chunks so that people can afford them. When I say people, I mean regular people, not just people that have 10 million to spare, or we are trying to open it up to people that have as little as 10,000 naira, 20,000 naira to be able to own and gain returns on assets, also on our assets and other assets as well, not just ours, because of course access to different types of real estate is obviously key to make that kind of platform work. So we have a lot of our projects on there, and that gives people the chance to own bits of those projects, earn returns, trade, and you can actually start playing as you can actually be a landlord from as little as 10,000 naira, because you own that piece of your investment and you earn returns on it like a normal landlord would. So those are some of the things that we sort of started working on when we realized that the way the price of real estate increases makes it very difficult for people in my age group, people in this age group as well to afford real estate, because it's constantly going higher. So that's one of the things. And then of course there's access to actually just being able to live, when shelter is one of the basic, human necessities. So another thing we looked at was, of course, rent as well is, sort of escalating, and we have a financial services side of our business that
Everyone should be able to play a part in real estate, either as you needing it for yourself or as an investor. I had a meeting in this hotel today with one of our investor, not from the equity side, but more of sales, acquiring properties, because he believes when this guy started buying properties from us, under buy small, and the whole drive for him is that I want to buy properties so that more people can access residential housing. Just to put it in basic terms, I want to buy that. That is what is driving him. He's a big guy in oil and gas, very impact-driven guy. And the first property he bought from us last year was around 300 million. And this asset was not even. We didn't put it in the market to sell to one person. We had put it in the market to sell in bits, but one person came and bought it, and I mean we've done several transactions after that, and just the fact that he had an understanding of people need housing. When I met him today, he was even saying, should I decrease the rent because of what is going in the country? That was what he said to me, and I didn't know how to answer, because every other landlord that we are talking to, they are telling me. I had a meeting with one of our biggest landlords last week via his office, and it was like, we need to increase the rent. This guy has about 30-something units under us, former group MD of one of the leading bank in Nigeria. And here you see someone who is thinking, should I decrease the rent in order to accommodate what is happening in the country? So the reason why I'm saying all of this is because it's a basic human need, and we need to provide access. That access, either as you're renting or you're thinking of investing in real estate, and you're thinking of what are the ways I can access real estate investment. Do I want to own as a sole owner? If I don't have all the money to be a full owner right now, what are other avenues? The fractional real estate, I think, is really going to take off. So anyone that is thinking about it right now, I would just encourage you to not just continue. And one way to do that is just the right market, the target market. Every market needs their target market. Who are your target market? Who are the people that have 10,000, 90,000, 100,000? A billionaire will not do fractional. Let's be factual. Even a millionaire that has maybe 10,000 disposable income and that can throw away will not do fractional. So we have to think of maybe students, that are already thinking of investments even from their final year, or people that are coming into the labor force, or people that maybe in the middle level of their career, maybe not spending too much, but just those people that have extra cash or want to be part of real estate, we need to start thinking about them. So, and that's our vision. What has taught us is that whole idea of small. Do real estate small, pay your rent small monthly, so that you have disposable income. Because that's one of the problems. When people pay their rent 1 year up front, it takes everything from them all at once. But when you're able to pay monthly, then you are able to plan your finances better, to the point that you have this income to do other things, invest. So when you're thinking of fractional ownership, or if somebody has paid their rent up front, or if they've taken a loan to pay it off and they're servicing the loan, they are not even thinking of other investment channels. So we have to make the monthly rental work. It has worked all over the world. I lived in Asia, I lived in Europe, at least over 10 years altogether, and I saw it work, and that is the reason why we're doing it in Nigeria. And for the past 4 years, against all odds, we made it work, and it's still working, yeah.
Fantastic. I can almost touch the passion in your voice. And I think that's one of the things that drives some of the greatest entrepreneurs in the world. By the way, I'm very proud of what you've done at Small Technologies, the access to the industry that you've been able to get, the funds you've been able to raise, and the spotlight you've been able to bring back to Proptech, companies in Nigeria. I think you've done exceptionally well. And that brings me to my next question around collaboration. Right? They always say that if you want to eat an elephant, you takes a lot of people to eat one, right? How are we seeing collaboration with Proptech, with real estate, traditional real estate companies? I mean, Purple is now both, right? How are the rest of us able to increase collaboration? What do you see, and I'm coming to you, Dubai, actually, what do you see are ways that we can, improve our impact by collaborating? I'm hearing a little bit about development, and then there are people who are breaking this development into fractional. There is a guy who is trying to, give credibility to people, right, to enable them access homes. And there's you guys trying to sell, right, for people who are built. How do you think collaboration, how do you think we can collaborate? How do you think we can come back next year and not be asking the same questions or saying the same things, but instead comparing notes and saying things that we've been able to achieve between now and then? What are your thoughts around that?
Thank you, John. So that's another interesting question you asked me, because we were all at the new Proptech event and we had the opportunity to meet each other. We're in the same space, understanding what we do and how we can actually relate with each other. In fact, the same week we had new Proptech, we had him. He was gracious enough to come over to our office. What were we talking about? Collaboration. In fact, we also met with Omrana. We met with Nisa of Omrana. What were we talking about? So we have realized that Violet did that. So this is the goal, and the way we call you our mentor. Wherever we see him, MD will say, our mentor, please. Just keep small space for us in the industry. Small space. So we realized that Violet did that. The sky is big enough. Yeah, so to achieve this goal faster, why can't you just bring your feature, plug it on my site, bring yours? We can't achieve everything right now, but we can achieve it faster. If we don't see each other as competitors or competition and just collaborate and work with each other, of course there's Proptech. We have the tech advantage, and then we see, oh, you're there already, I'm almost there. Why don't you just join forces and make it better? So I think that if we all can just eliminate that thought process of, oh, we're competing, and oh, you're going to steal my clients, why can't we just get those clients together faster? Like you said, Nigeria, we're far back, but we can actually achieve it faster together. So that's how we think of Violet Leaf, and we're already. You don't agree? Exactly. We're already doing it. We're already collaborating. We're already having the discussions, and just watch the space for us.
Fantastic.
Yes,
and I'm going to come to you next, Muhyiddin. But Tochi, it seems like you have some thoughts.
Yes, I'm more interested in the discussion of collaboration, because that's the whole reason why Libya exists, right? Nigeria today is suffering not because Nigeria has a bad government alone, but all of us want to be champions. So everybody in units have their power block and they are protecting it, right? So in a whole, let me tell you when I started seeing the power of collaboration. When we started, I always get chunks of money, small chunks, and it always finished very quickly. And then one day, I said I need to do an audit. And then our financial person went, did the audit, and then when he gave me the figure that we have spent on the project, I couldn't believe it. Why? Because it was coming in bits.
Small technology.
Small, right? So what I started doing, I started looking at our system, the way we work, and I discovered everybody was a single champion. But together, we are powerful. I'll give you a quick math. They say math never lies. Average rent today in Lagos is 650,000 naira, right? Averaging, right? Now, I've seen all the discussion happening here today, and I discovered everything has been centered around Lagos alone. But there are 206 million people in Nigeria. Do that math. And just say 50% of them parents, or let's even say 40% of that 206 million parents, right? And do that mass against 650,000 naira. None of you here will remain in this room. You will run out there. And that is the market that is out there for us. Many of us are looking at property at the infrastructure. We decided to look at property as the people. And the moment we begin to do that, you will see that if we work together, nobody will steal anybody's market. Just like the other person said in that panel. If all of us begin to see this is your strength, like what Warren was trying to do to Warren Buffett, investing in Bill Gates' NGO. I invest in your own, don't come into my space. And we begin to create a network of collaborative, either investing in each other, stay in your space, I stay in my space, but we are contributing to a center point. You will be shocked that the real estate industry will not need a bank to fund any construction. No single bank. The real estate industry in Nigeria today will not need to go abroad, and yet will be able to achieve very affordable housing. So collaboration should actually be, in my opinion, anytime we sit down like this to meet, the bane of our discussion anytime real estate experts sit down to meet. How do we work together to ensure that we are networking enough to make things and capture these 206 million Nigerians and 1.3 billion Africans?
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Maybe do you have any thoughts to share on collaboration as well? I mean, I have my thoughts. Popu, please invest in us. Let's invest in you.
Yes, together. Yes, I will. So I say I look at collaboration from three angles. So I look at collaboration from an access to markets perspective, from a, I guess, funding perspective, and then from a building the ecosystem. So from an access to market perspective, I mean, when you look at Nigeria as of now, we have probably like a certain number of homes, 40 million homes. We have 600,000 units under management. In the old times experience between us, the other big players, we're probably scratching close to, let's say, 45,000 units altogether. But here you have service providers who, mind you, are backed by the biggest developers, the biggest property management firms, and they've said, hey, take this money and take these units and go and innovate on them. So I think, that's one thing that we need to do here a bit more. Obviously, Nigeria is the way it is, and what you find is Proptech providing services will be competing with the developer that's providing the same services, which again is fine. But for us, it's about growing the market and about scaling. And to do that, it's just at some point, they miss that one in terms of competition. So between us and the other tenant experience people, we work together to educate the space. We're hosting events together. Because at the end of the day, like the smaller the market is, the worse for each of us. The bigger the market is, the better for all of us. Because at the end of the day, people will always live somewhere. There will always be construction, there will always be homes. And so it's a market that is a no-brainer. And for us, even among competitors, it's always what we always get together to sit down is how can we grow the market so that there's more slice of pie, and also to try and unlock hidden value in homes and estates. So for us, generally, any service providers that enrich the experience of our residents are people that we're always looking to speak to. So we're already doing a lot of work with BAM. We can't all do it together, especially when you're a small business. So I think that's sort of my own 2 cents on that.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay, any thoughts for me?
People. So obviously it's a melting pot, I think, that needs to sort of be developed, where people that have certain strengths obviously come together and the ecosystem builds off on it, because it's not just really about I think local merits or local products. Through collaboration and bringing everybody together, the market actually has the potential to attract real like real FDI that can actually change the course of things in the country. So I think really collaboration is really important, especially because there are different things that you have strengths and different things that other people have strengths in, and putting those things together and just bouncing ideas sometimes can actually create new businesses. And that's something that we've definitely seen as well at Proptech. So collaboration is definitely high up on our list.
Comments on collaboration.
So I was going to throw you a question around the role of professionals in Proptech. Does Proptech mean that everything professionals knew before today, doesn't matter anymore? How does technology work with professionals or not. So you can add that to your comment as you go along.
So collaboration, I believe in collaboration so much. It's just sad that we have trust issues in Nigeria. It's messing us up, whether we like it or not. I will give you practical examples from my own. Till today, I never plan to go into buying property sales or anything. We started rent small, and I was living a very decent, comfortable life, making decent, comfortable money and all that. But I moved back to the country, still wanting to do real estate, but looking for where is my heart? What can I really? Where can I have impact? So, and that speaks to why in 4 years we're in business and we continue to look for ways to solve the problem. So supply has been a major challenge and continues to be. And when we started, I did everything. I was going to almost every professional real estate company. I can start mentioning them. Some of them are here, but it was a no opportunity, none of that, right? And the sad part is that you even went to some, and the next thing is that they started exactly the same thing you're doing because they realized that they have to supply. To do it again, maybe they are here, but I'm not going to mention it. So that then brings me to like a place of course, I know the problem I'm solving. I know why I'm solving it. I'm not going to relent. That is for sure because, that's the way I'm wired, right? So rather than leave myself to, if it happens, it happens, I'm going to think internally now, how am I going to solve this problem? And we realize that we have data, that we are sitting on. We know where people want to rent, how much you want to pay for rent. We know we have all of these data. As a tech company, that's one of the strength of technology. It gives you data, right? And in the traditional space, you don't find that data. And all of these guys don't have this data that's tech enabled, right? And with that, we're able to create a product that we call buy-to-let, which is a sub-product under Buy Small Small. And buy-to-let allow investors to buy properties in the area. You don't have to think, how much will this property yield for me? Where should I buy this property? As an investor, not that I want to buy and live in it. No, I want to buy and rent it out and make good return on my investment. So that data guided us to be able to start picking this property. And guess what? We raised funds and started acquiring these properties. We've done to the tune of about 8 billion, in the last 1 year or so. And I was sharing that one of my investors was here today, came to see me. Humbling experience for me, but this guy told me that his plan is to do $1 billion with us this year in terms of acquiring property. That because he's getting rental income that gives him a good, decent return on his investment. I did not need to go into sales. But because collaboration wasn't working and people, they weren't willing to collaborate, I've gone into sales now. But I've gone into sales in a very strategic way, not just any type of sale, because we don't even sell any type of property. We don't even sell properties for people. I've had to acquire property myself, or the company acquire our own properties to sell. If you come today and tell me that I can solve your supply problem, whether you are an institutional investor and you have good supply channel, whatever it is, I will tell my people, let's go back to our core, because whether we like it or not, it's distraction for us from the place of impact. I like the money I'm seeing. It helps my company to continue to sustain itself while we are opening our core market, which is people pay rent monthly in Nigeria. I need to see that happen in my lifetime. I need to see that become the norm in my lifetime, and it's going to happen.
Thank God I'm in your lifetime too, so if you see it, I'll see it. and I think I really want to talk about the role of professionals and us. Talking about collaboration, that's another level, right? And you're ready to jump on that? Okay, please go ahead.
They begin to question your knowledge about what they already know, right? And then that becomes almost like an argument, right? But what technology does for you as a professional, like somebody said, If there's anybody that still draw his plan, his architectural design on paper, let him raise up his hand. What technology has done for you there is it has simplified your ability to churn out architectural designs, right, at a faster rate. And what Proptech is trying to also do is sit down with professionals and say, how do you get from point A to point B? What is your calculation? So that we can convert that into codes, right? In such a way that you don't need to go through that stress again. You will better use your mind, focus on researching, right? Than trying to calculate how many tons of yam, how many tons of stones you need to mix with cement. Right?
You like yam too. Yam
It's not for beans, it's not for Gary. So, so what we need to start doing is, I think we need to humble ourselves as Proptech people also, right? We also need to know that the professionals have been in this for a very long time. And we need to know it's not something that will happen instantly. But we also need to convince them that we are not here to compete with them, but we are here to optimize them, right? And that means we are here to even sit down and ask them, how do you achieve this? Let us convert it for you in code and try it out. If it improves what you are doing, what you have also helped us do is you have now created a digital standard so that a quantity surveyor in Abeokuta can basically now use that code which a professional in Lagos has come up with to make his standard in Abeokuta the same thing Lagos is getting. And that is what Proptech can bring to the professional industry. So for me, it's more like using this platform to appeal to any professional here, right? Don't see Proptech as a competition. See it as an enhancer. And then when you look at it that way, any Proptech person you see, call him and sit him down. How can you guys help us simplify this process? And see the magic will do. I think for me, at the area of talent, I think we should start finding means in which we can collaborate in talent development. Talent development and research. Whether we like it or not, people will run. In fact, it's possible that most people that come to work for you, they are trying to meet their budgets with Japa. The more we increase, the more we increase our investment in training people, and we can go as deep as secondary schools, right? Universities, those guys are there to learn. I think we can also mitigate that Japa, consequence. Then, in the aspect of investment, I want to appeal to every real estate player here, developer, facility manager that have spent 20 years, 27 years. Proptech is still very new, but this is actually the engine that will take your business to the next level. And so if you see a Proptech company, like my company, jump at it and invest in it. That is it. Don't look at real estate alone as infrastructure. Start looking at the data that it holds. That is the next oil that is going to come.
Fantastic. I think at this point the ushers should bring the offering back.
I think I would like to encourage us to be open-minded to technology. So, because in the real estate industry, we know the familiar names, we know the agents, we know the developers. So I think we should just try and embrace, upcoming tech companies, because with technology we can achieve a lot more, achieve it faster, and also in line of the collaboration, I think it's best that we all try to work together. Also for the talent side, just like our mentor said, we should also try and make the work environment more conducive, try and avoid the high rate of staff turnover, churn. These people that are not leaving the country, let's try and make them more comfortable, enjoy the work that they do, make the work environment more conducive, so that at least we can harness the talent and it will be a better place to work. Thank you.
Fantastic. I think importantly,
trust amongst each other. Tayo has everything in terms of to do rent small if he wants to. I think he can, but today he's not doing rent small. Maybe I don't know if it's because it's hard work and he's too big for it. But the truth is that someone like Tayo that has even gone beyond just hearing about the idea, but has been very supportive. At different times that will call me and say to you, I think I want you to meet this person, and he will tell me who the person is. I'll be like, oh, that's not child's play, and we'll go for the meeting together. And people like him believe in the industry and believe that there's a new wave that is about to, so he's almost like a bridge between the old and the new. Some of us were new.
Today, how old are you, Abed?
Not in terms of age, not age.
Just kidding.
Experience, industry.
You're on down the top.
I didn't experience.
I know you're older than me.
I did not experience 10% commission and 5% commission that some people don't want to let go.
Wow.
Sorry, I'm really sorry.
Shot fired.
Too many souls.
I've suffered in the last 4 years.
I'm boiling your brain.
But again, it's possible. And today, I still sit here and I'm saying that we will collaborate even with the traditional agent, and find ways that it can work at the end of the day. Whatever we earn or we make, we can share it. So let's find ways to create conversation around that collaboration in a practical way it can work. And I'm challenging someone like Tayo, to maybe lead this charge, as the new wave of, real estate, activity is going to open up very soon.
I mean, just to ride on that, I think that collaboration, after a meeting like this, should be seen as a serious responsibility. Because the worst thing we want to hear is that people have tried to collaborate and somebody has messed up, somebody has misappropriated funds or somebody has been dubious. So I think those of us here, yes, but I think those of us here should take it as a serious charge, such that if any responsibility is given to you, or if you have any role to play in a collaborative effort, you play it to the best of your ability, because you will be setting the stage for what will come afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, because I've said it all, but I really agree in terms of collaboration. And also, just to say, I think with talent, I think, I don't want to say I disagree, but I also have a different perspective that as many people have jumped out and as many people have left, there are many people who are actively trying to. Nigerians are very, very entrepreneurial and very enterprising, and I think people just need a chance. The same way Rent Small was given a chance, is the same way a lot of these developers, a lot of people. So yeah, I think when it comes to talent, what people actually want to see is that you can actually do something, actually deliver. So we need to actually give people a chance, and that actually also goes back to collaboration. In that there are a lot of problems that need to be solved across the board in this room. You just need to sit down with a professional, and they will tell you the pressure points they're having in their business. And tech is a way to actually solve that. So I'm really impressed with the way everything sort of comes together in this. In that, there are real problems that need to be solved. In different tech things that we do, we find out, at the last minute that there are, concerns that, one particular person, one stakeholder didn't mention or just realizes now, and it brings, a whole new, dimension onto the project, and it brings completeness into those processes. So I think it's important that we're collaborating with old, new. We are bringing everybody together to make proper headway and to make, informed headway. Because these guys are the gatekeepers, they're the ones that sort of built the industry as we are trying to take the industry to the next level, accelerate the industry. So it's not a me thing, it's a team thing. So really agree with that. Thank you.
Fantastic perspective from all the panelists. I think the way you say it at Construct is that there is a very sweet spot between the vast experience of the old that brings wisdom and the energy of the young. And a good synergy between is the sweet spot where They're not taking lightly the issues that people before you faced that made them do things the way they did it. They're not taking it lightly. But also, you're bringing your energy, your positivity, your drive, your need for a new Nigeria, your need for a new industry to bear. And that collaboration is the sweet spot that brings change. So hopefully, at REDA 2023, we will be discussing progress from new meetings that will take place, from talking here. So if you've seen somebody you think you should be collaborating with, let this conversation start. Remember, like we said, it's a responsibility, so don't mess it up. And of course, do all the proper due diligence and documentation that you need to do to make sure that you're doing business. Because at the end of the day, what we really want to do is business. On that note, I'll say thank you to everyone here.
You may not rise for a lot of humor. We really needed that at the end of a long day. And again, I think the discussions at this real estate discussions and awards have been amazing. Regardless of how the day started or how everything went, it still ended very well. It's been very insightful. Please applaud them as they exit the stage. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for sharing from your wealth of knowledge and experience.
What are you doing? What are you doing? At the right time, people would collaborate. And collaboration doesn't mean that you're trying to steal someone's customer or you're trying to take the space of another person. Collaboration must happen. In law, we call it mergers and acquisitions. There will be in the future, in 10 years' time, whereby companies will now start merging. Rent Small will merge with Leave It. Maybe me and Tayo over here, North Court, and my company will merge together, and then we do bigger things. So let's just continue. Let everybody do what they are doing. Over time, it will all come together and become a bigger picture. Thank you very much.